Did it start?
Hello, yes, we just started. We are live.
Wait, I didn't grab my copy of the book.
Oh, well, now you're making this on way longer than it needs to be.
No, we're talking. Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live show for Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foodie. This book recently came out, so we don't know how many of you have actually read it yet. But the beginning part of this live show will be spoiler-free. So even if you haven't already, you can definitely chat with us for a little bit.
Finally got the book.
Finally. So yes, today we're going to be talking about Daughter of the Burning City. Michael and I decided randomly that we just wanted to start buddy reading books every month and do live shows for them. Is this like an official book club now?
I don't know, because we've buddy read before, but our buddy reading is one of us finishes the entire book before the other person even reads it. So it doesn't really count as buddy reading.
This one we did at like a pretty similar rate. Like I finished it the day after you though. Whereas like I finished Illuminate like 10 days after you.
Wait, but you started way before me.
No, not way before.
I'm trying to see if our live show is actually live. Oh, we are. Wow. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So yeah, Michael, do you want to introduce yourself? Because I think being on my channel, people know who I am. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I don't know. I think you might have to introduce yourself on your own channel as well.
Hi, I'm Emma from Emmabooks, if you didn't know.
I'm Michael from Michael Book Lion.
Yeah. I figured because we have people watching at the moment, it would be a good time to announce this. So next month, are we doing it next month or are we doing it in October?
What are we referring to? You didn't.
The next live show that we're doing.
Oh, for You Know What?
Yes.
The book's not called You Know What. I just didn't know if we announced it yet. Oh, no, we're doing it in September.
Yes. So next month, Michael and I are going to be doing a live show for, let me grab it.
Oh, come on. You didn't prepare me for these things. I'm drum rolling on my thigh.
I can't find it.
Hurry up. This is starting to feel weird.
I can't find it. I don't know where she put it.
You're so unprofessional.
Today, I can't find it.
Okay.
The next live show we're going to do is Daughter of...
Wait.
That's the live show we're doing
That's
today.
the live show we're currently doing. Get your shit together, Em.
Our next live show is for They
Both Die at the End.
By Adam Silvera.
Adam Silvera.
So if you'd like to join us next month, you totally should. And we're going to be discussing it. And we're going to force Adam to be with us, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we might have other people joining us too. Mysterious wink.
Yeah, we don't really know what we're doing with this.
We just start. That's our motto. We don't really know what we're doing. That's my motto. You usually have. We literally haven't even started talking about the book yet.
It's cool. Well, this is new for both of us and for everyone else. We're introducing.
I mean, Emma's a little bit of a live show host pro. Why did you put that in quotes after I said it?
Because I had to look up the instructions and I had to start this again. So yeah, so next month we're going to be doing a live show for They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. It comes out on September 5th. Y'all can pre-order it or reserve it at your local library. Adam is on tour. Come hang out with us.
God bless you.
I coughed.
Oh. Yeah, September 5th at the Barnes & Noble Tribeca is the official launch party in New York City, and Emma and I will be moderating. And so show up if you want to hang out with us and Adam. And yeah, that's all that I can say, but I'm still talking.
Yeah, so we're going to be chatting about, I'm sorry, I had potato chips recently, I can't stop coughing. We're going to be talking about Daughter of the Burning City today. Michael, do you want to share your overall impression / rating?
You go first because you're better at this than I am.
I think I gave it 4.5 stars, maybe 5, I don't remember.
I think you gave it 5.
I really, really, really loved it. It was a super fun story. I really liked, it just felt very different. You know, I haven't read The Night Circus. I know that whenever anyone thinks about circus and carnival books, they think about The Night Circus. And just so you guys know, I will let you know when we're going into spoilers. This is all spoiler free at the moment. But yeah, I really liked the characters. I liked the overall concept of it. I thought it was a fun read. I'm always down for mysteries. So I really, really enjoyed it. But there definitely are some things that weren't perfect. There was there were some problems in development that we can talk about in a bit. But overall, I thought it was a really fantastic book and I totally recommend it.
Question. Did we tweet out that we were doing this, that it was live?
Yeah, I tweeted it out like twice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. 1 second.
Thanks, Michael. What were your thoughts? What did you think?
Did you not tag me in the tweet? Because I'm trying to get that easy retweet and I'm not seeing it.
Oh, no, I didn't tag. I tagged you in the one where I said, like, we were going to. And then...
So while I look for and retweet this, oh, here it is. So my thoughts were, I liked it a little bit less than Emma. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. But I did still really enjoy the book. I did read The Night Circus because it's like a thing that the most people should have done by now, but shade. I don't know. I said shade and then I got totally distracted. Like, why is she giving me that face? I'm uncomfortable. But I have read The Night Circus, and so it's harder for me to go into circus books and like not have higher expectations. And I think this is the first one out of the, not many, but it is the first one I've read that kind of almost held up against The Night Circus. So that's saying something. And yeah, I won't get into any spoilers, but I enjoyed it overall, and I'm pretty disappointed there's no sequel, question mark.
Oh my god, we need a sequel! I'm just gonna have to like bother Amanda if we just tweet her every day. I would be like, I need y'all to write.
I think that's gonna make her want to write a sequel less. Also, y'all refers to multiple people, and she's one person.
If you guys have any like non-spoilery questions that you want us to go into before we jump into spoilers,
are people commenting? How do we see their comments?
Go to the link on the live show. Like, you click on the link that you just tweeted and you mute it so it doesn't echo, and then you can go into...
That's a lot of... You lost me like 10 minutes ago.
Click on the link you just tweeted out.
Okay.
Are you there yet? Nope.
I think so.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you look at the live chat right next to it.
Oh, shoot. That's what I look like right now? Nice. That's rough. I'm real sorry, everyone.
Okay, so I guess we can jump into spoilers because I haven't seen any questions yet. I should probably have Twitter open too. There's
like a lot of comments, but I don't know if there are any questions.
Yeah, I don't think we have questions yet. But feel free to ask us questions.
I love how confused Michael is. That's just me at all times. Oh, there's a question. Is the plot well written?
What do you think, Michael?
Of if the plot is well written?
Yeah.
I had certain issues with it. Are we getting into spoiler territory?
Can you talk about it non-spoilery, or it has to be?
I can try.
Right.
I did think it was well written. I thought there were certain points that could have used a little more fine tuning to be, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I thought there were a few things that could have been a little more well written in the grand scheme of things, but overall I thought the mystery was executed really well, and I know mysteries are not easy to execute, so yeah, I thought it was pretty well, yeah. Emma, what about you?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the plot. I think like the ending and like the reveal of the mystery was surprising. Like, I didn't expect it at all, and it really went in a different direction. The only issue I have with the plot, I think, was a lot of this book like
no spoilers.
About what?
No spoilers.
I'm not spoiling things.
Oh, okay.
A lot of this book, like, there's a lot of talk about like a war between two territories, but there isn't a lot of development on it. And I think that's like one of the parts that it like faltered in, was like we were talking about this war, but we didn't really get a lot of development on it. But in regards to like the mystery and the illusions and stuff, like I thought that it was really, really interesting.
I think we have like a ton of questions now. So how do we want to do this?
Was there any romance in this? Yes, there is a romance. The main character is bisexual, and I don't know the exact sexuality of the love interest. I
think it was demisexual.
Yeah, like I've read reviews that have said that he's demisexual. I read a review that said that he was like demi-romantic but asexual. Like I wasn't.
Yeah. The thing is, it's never explicitly stated. Like the characters never explicitly state.
Yeah, they don't use like specific terms, but like our main character. Do you say Serena or Serena? That's the question that I have.
Forgot. You just said both, and now I never know. I don't know.
I say
Serena, I think.
Yeah, and so like it's expressed in the novel that she likes guys and girls, but they don't necessarily use the specific terms.
It's also kind of expressed that it's a common, like in their focus area, that sexuality isn't as big or like serious a thing, and that it's much more natural and fluid.
Yes.
Which is completely off the question. What was the question we were answering?
If there's a romance. So yeah, there's a romance between Serena and, like, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that, does it say his name? Luca is the love interest, because technically, like, I think whenever you read a YA synopsis and you see two names in it and it's like about how one person meets the other, I think like you can always kind of assume that that's the love
Wow,
interest.
it's 2017 and you're just gonna assume that they're dating like that?
Yeah.
I'm just right in front of my salad.
Yes. And no, there is no love triangle. Somebody had asked if there's a love triangle. There's not. It's just between Luca and Serena, and it was very cute. Did you like the romance, Michael? Did you like them together or no?
I didn't. I thought it was pretty well developed. Like it's one book, so it's like you're not gonna get wow bang pow romance out of one book where like romance isn't the main focus.
Yeah.
Like if this were contemporary, you'd spend 75% of the time developing the romance. But I'd say like 15% of this book is dedicated to developing the romance. So like the amount of time we had, I thought it was as well done as it could have been, I guess.
I feel
How
like,
about you?
yeah, I really liked the two of them together. I think I liked it because like I'm the type of person where like I live for like the arrogant bad boy trope in love interests, but I feel like Luca like just grazed the surface of it, but he was like so much more nice. Like, I feel like he was a more genuine, authentic person, and he was able to be like more vulnerable and real with Serena, and I really liked the way that their relationship developed, because like, you know, there's a stereotypical, oh, he's so annoying, like in the beginning, like building tension, but then like they started to really open up to each other, and I felt like there was a friendship first. I don't know if you feel the same, but I thought that like before they really like developed into a relationship, like they were good friends, like they were building on something.
And on top of that, it's not like they ever like developed into a serious relationship, though. We only saw like the inklings of a relationship that was to come as well.
Yeah, I think it's different. It's not like the stereotypical YA romance that you see, I think.
Yeah, so don't come for the romance, come for the mystery.
Well, somebody asked they said I hope it's not all romance. It's definitely not.
There's very little romance.
Yeah, and I kind of like that. You know, like it feels like more naturally integrated into the story that way, because it's not like oversaturated romance. Like there's a little tension, there's some cutesy moments, there are some feelings, but I think overall, like the focus of the story is really that this mystery of Serena trying to figure out who is killing her illusion.
You literally never said the plot of the book.
I mean, I think I've said it, and I've mentioned this book like 7 times in my recent video.
Give me your best plot synopsis right now.
Okay, so Daughter of the Running City takes place in this traveling festival called Gomorrah that is not your stereotypical circus. There are a lot of different sorts of magic that people use to perform for for the different cities that they travel to, but it's really well known for being a traveling town of like assassins and magic workers and sex workers and whatnot. So it's not like a happy-go-lucky circus. And our main character's name is Serena, and she doesn't have eyes. And so she has the ability to create illusions, which are essentially like, they look and feel real, but they're not real. They're figments of her imagination. And so that's what she performs in a freak show with all of her, that's what she does in her freak show with all of the illusions that she's created. And one night, she finds that one of the illusions has been killed. And for all of her life, she has imagined that they were not real. So it's like, how can you kill something that doesn't actually exist? And so the story is of Serena embarking on 2 different investigations. One that's the official Gomorrah investigation, and another that is with a boy named Luca that she meets, who is taking a different route. And so it's all about Serena trying to figure out who killed her illusions, why, and how.
That was a really good plot summary, but I just have to say I was a little distracted. You know it's an emmmabooks live show when there's arguments about the Mortal Instruments going on in the I was so distracted by people yelling Malik and Clace.
It just follows me like a cloud. What can I say at this point?
You've condensed that cloud particles science.
All right, I think we can jump into spoilers.
So do we want to answer questions, or do we want to like focus on the things we said we'd focus on ahead of time? What do you want to do first?
I mean, we can do both.
I say we start with discussing like some of the main things we wanted to talk about.
Okay, so we are going to be jumping into spoilers. So those of you who have not finished Daughter of the Burning City should go read it and then come back. This live show will be on my channel once it's ended. So if you have some time in the future and would like to watch it after reading Daughter of the Burning City, you can definitely come back. If you don't plan on reading it, feel free to stay and chat with us, even though you won't know what's going on. But that's the spoiler warning. We're jumping in to actual book content now. But thank you guys so much for watching the beginning. And don't forget to come back next month for the They Both
Die at the end live show.
Bye. All right, Michael, what is first on our list?
First on our list was the threads. Did you know what they were for a second?
No, I thought you said threats, and I was like, I don't remember there being any threats in this book. But you
said there were probably a few. There were threats at the end.
That's different. Like what did you?
Okay, we were talking about threads. So I thought the threads were just kind of confusing because my issue with them was that they weren't included for the majority of the book, and I guess it makes sense in that what do we call them? The illusions.
Yeah.
The illusions are just like out. They don't need to be taken back into her mind for the majority of the book. So we only see the threads like at the beginning and at the end. And so not seeing them often enough kind of threw me off. So every time I saw her mention it, I was like, what, did you just tie rope to them? Like, what are you talking about? So I was a little confused for that. What were your thoughts on the threads?
I don't think I had as big of a problem with them as you did, because I kind of imagined it as like an imaginary cord where it wasn't like, when you see the illusion, there's an actual thread tied to her. I think it was more like her visualizing her connection to them. And like every time she was like, I put them back in the trunk in my head, like I visualized her pulling the thread and them like coming back into her thing. But I don't think it was ever like a physical manifestation of threads. I thought it was just like mental, and it was a way to, like it was more of a feeling that allowed her to be connected to them as opposed to it. But I do think that like it wasn't consistent enough. And I still don't understand the threads in relation to Luca, because I think it was mentioned, but I don't remember exactly what they said about it.
Did you never read The Young Elites by Marie Lu, right?
No.
That's a world where superpowers are like controlled in the same manner, and that there's like threads that like help you like pull on them and such. And so I kind of had that going into this. So I saw it the same way when I saw her mention threads, and it wasn't the same thing. So I think that's what threw me off and put me a little sideways. But yeah.
I mean, did they explain how Serena didn't feel Luca's threads? I feel like it was explained, but
yeah, because they made her forget.
Right. Okay. Ignore me. I forgot about that part. I forgot. Okay, that makes a lot of sense now. So yeah, I think you had more of a problem with it than I did, but I agree to an extent. It wasn't like totally perfect, you know, like there could have been more clarification on how they worked and such.
Mm-hmm. So the next thing was the eye situation, because Serena does not have any eyes, and this very much threw me off at first.
Threw me off throughout the whole book,
because the author would say things from Serena's perspective, like, I roll my eyes, and I was like, but you don't have any eyes. How'd you roll them? And so I was very confused with like the concept of how she saw. I just didn't understand the concept of how she saw if she didn't have eyes, and how she would like roll her eyes, or like other actions you can do with your eyes. I don't know what else you can do with your eyes, but she did them. And at the same time, I didn't think it was necessary until we found out that she didn't have eyes because of her second jinx. And then I guess I understood then why she didn't have any eyes. But it was just like weird for me to think about. And also for any Avatar The Last Airbender fans out there, I know Emma never watched it, but there was this character in one of the seasons called like the Faceless Creature, and there was this monster that Aang had to face. And so I kept like picturing the like terrifying faceless monster from that anime. And it threw me off a little bit. Emma, what were your thoughts on the end?
Also, I just want to say that Christina from Prep Book Line just said if she could have actually seen the threads, then she would have seen them when she met Luca, even if she forgot. So, like, I guess they are mental, because she would have been able to see them, you know?
Yeah. Why are you awake? You said it was like 1 a.m. where you are.
Christina doesn't sleep. So my thoughts on the eyes are, I agree. Like every time she said, I rolled my eyes, I'm like, you could have said that, like, you know, she was exasperated, or she like let out a disgruntled breath or something. Like there are other
ways. Disgruntled breath.
Like there's a lot of other ways to convey the feelings that are associated with rolling your eyes. So I think that was a mistake, and I really don't understand how, like, even if she didn't realize that she was writing that, like, I think the editor should have picked up on that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like that's a consistency error that I think that the editor should have picked up on as well. I also think that the way that she saw wasn't explained very well. Like I had thought like it would have been more interesting if it was explained like that her jinx magic allows her to feel like the distance and stuff from her, and it's able to create an image in her mind. Not to be a nerd, but another Avatar: The Last Airbender reference. That's how the blind character saw. I'm just saying. Keep going. Oh wait, I actually used to like guilty pleasure watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. Why would it be a guilty pleasure? Why wouldn't it just be a regular pleasure? Because I was like 9 at the time, and no one I knew watched it, so I just like watched it in silence and never talked about it with anyone. But yeah, like I talked about it with me. I wish there was more of a reliance on like her magic that helped her see, because you know, like either she could have been totally blind, and like I thought that would have been a good route to go, or else like it could have been like you know, the magic is the way that she sees, and that was explained better. But I just think the fact that she said she had no eyes was like yeah, I think it was an interesting plot point, but I just think it never like handicapped her in any way. Mm-hmm. And I think that would have been like a necessary, not a necessary, but a fun addition to this. God, I'm saying it would be fun if she had a handicap. I mean, like an interesting addition to the story, and that like somehow it handicapped her, but it seemed like she could see just like everyone else. Yeah, no, I agree. And like I know that there is like a you know, like when writing, like I don't think Serena would technically be considered like disabled or blind because she can see, but I know with blind characters in fantasy or just disabled characters in general, you're not supposed to like give them some sort of like magical compensation. Like you know, if you have a you know, a character that is paralyzed, like in sci-fi they shouldn't have like an electronic wheelchair that lets them fly through space or whatever. You know what I mean? Like if they're disabled, they should be disabled. So I think that you know, like the fact that like I don't think it necessarily played into that with the ability that she could see because she wasn't actually disabled. So that was something I was nervous about going into, but I was ultimately satisfied that like you know, it wasn't like, you know, she had this problem and it was magically fixed. Like this is the way that like her life has always been. Do you understand what I'm sort of saying? Did you ever see it coming that there were multiple times during the book where it was mentioned that people who have a second jinx work were missing some sort of like bodily function? Like, did you ever see it coming that Serena's lack of eyes might hint that she had a second jinx work? I didn't. Did you? You probably did. Yeah, no, me. Oh, way to assume, Em. Whatever. I thought you probably did. I thought you would have. Oh, I thought you said wait. You probably didn't, and I was like, no, I thought you did. Come for me. We're on a live show right now. No, I absolutely did not. So I thought that was. That's another thing. I think she did the mystery really well, because I know Emma and I were like constantly texting each other, being like, this person's shady, this person's shady. And I think at one point in the beginning, I did say like the person I thought shady was the killer, but I was distracted after that because it was just engrossed in the story. Like, I wish I could show you the text I sent to Michael where I was like, Michael, is it Luca? Because Michael was like, towards the end, yeah. I was like, Michael, is it Luca? It can't be Luca. You were making some very dramatic threats when you were like, if this is Luca, I'm going to drown this book in water and never look at it again. But or else I was like, because near the end, like, it was really exhilarating. Like, it was a time where it's like, I could not put this down because He was literally texting me in all caps for like 10 minutes straight, and I was like, girl, chill. I wasn't this amped up. But I got so emotionally attached to Luca that, like, if she had made him the villain, I would have been out, man. But, I think like, that is a good... Were you about to finish more? Well, I was just about to say, like, I was just going back and forth with, is it the father? Like, it has to be the father. It can't. Yeah, that's why I'm bringing... That's a good the segue into Whodunit, which is the next point on our notes. So,
I don't think either of us ever at the end were like dead sure it was one specific person.
No, I think it was written in a good way though, because like it, you know, what was I gonna say? I think that like it was so unexpected though. You know what I mean? Like I feel like her father would have been the obvious choice. You know?
At the beginning, that's what I was saying. At the beginning, I was texting you saying, what's his Willem? I
Yeah.
was saying Willem seemed shady. Willem's assistant seemed shady, and so at the beginning, I suspected them, but then I just got so caught up in it, and the fact that we were thrown off by Willem being in a wheelchair or having some sort of handicap that stopped him from walking around for a while after the attacks, and people still dying, and so I sort of drew away attention from him. But what I do want to say, I really enjoyed that we didn't see who it was coming for sure, but I thought it was a little bit of a rip-off that like neither of them were actually the killer. Like they had someone else doing the killing for them. You know what I mean?
I can see why you'd say that.
But at the same time, the prestigious like owner of the entire thing isn't going to go around with blood on his hands. But I just would have liked to see like someone we knew doing the actual killing.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel exactly the same.
Other than that, I think the mystery was really well.
How did you feel about the plot twist of Luca being an illusion? Because that shook me to my core.
You were shooketh?
I was shooketh to the max.
I think I gasped. I think that's it. But again, like if you get me to gasp while I'm reading, it means something. But I don't think I was too like wilding after that. I think I just went and then like kept reading the rest of the book. But I didn't see it coming until like right before it was announced. You know what I mean?
I didn't see it coming until it was like.
You didn't see it coming until they were saying it. And I was getting those texts where you were like, Michael, is he an illusion?
Oh, maybe.
Michael, no.
Before.
I think you were the same way. And like a page before it happened, you were like, he's an illusion.
I lost my mind. I cannot remember the last time a plot twist got me like so good.
Did you gasp out loud?
Yeah, I was at work and I was literally like in my mind
I really hope you weren't actually doing that at work.
But like in my mind,
it was the realtors.
Because like I was so afraid that this meant that they weren't going to be together. Like I thought that like. Because she's dating someone that she made. Like, he's not.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's okay? Because your text to me when you before you knew if they ended up together or not, were like, oh my God, I can't believe I shipped this. It's so wrong. But then when they did end up together, you were just like, I'm cool with it. So like, what are your thoughts on it now?
My immediate thought was how in high school I shipped Tyler Durden and the narrator of Fight Club together.
I never read Fight Club.
You really should. It's fantastic. But like I remember sitting in my class and having like the plot twist explained to me, and I was like, I can't believe this happened. So I got a lot of those feelings when it was Luca, because I thought that it meant that like they weren't going to be together. And it is a little weird because she's dating.
Well, now I'm wondering what the plot twist in Fight Club is.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone. It's so good though. I mean, I think you can sort of imagine it with what I was saying.
I have no idea.
I'll tell you after the live show.
Okay.
But so I think it's a little weird. Like it's not a traditional relationship. I mean, he's not real. Like he exists in her head.
I mean, is he real though?
What?
Is he real? Did her second Jinx work mean the illusions were real?
Oh man, there's so much involved in this Jinx work, and that's why I think the Jinx work is so cool. But like. Is he real? Like, is he considered real now?
What are they saying in the comments? Is Luca real? What do you think?
I feel like I can't think of them as real because they were created as a part of her imagination. You know, they didn't grow like real people, and that's why it makes me feel like they aren't actually real, even if they are tied to these people and can be killed. You know. Really quick,
someone commented that they knew Willem would be the villain because his name literally almost is villain. Villain. I didn't put that one together.
That's pretty clever.
That's pretty. I think they are real, but then I think it brings in like this whole extra layer of like she's literally creating people out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I think then it becomes like it didn't get into that depth. Like the book didn't get into that depth because again, it's just one book.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to see like how things progressed over time with them because like
book two.
I really want a book too, but I feel like the book can't take place over more than like a few months. You know what I mean? Like this isn't like a 3-year story. So I feel like I would need to see like how these people like grow and stuff because I don't think they don't age like normal people, if I'm correct.
I do not have the answer to that. I don't
was
know.
still a baby. Blister was a 2-year-old. And
that's why I think we needed book 2.
Oh, I want more. Because like maybe like her like the illusion jinx work, like they wouldn't age, but maybe like combined with her second jinx work, maybe they do age and like they are people now, but I feel like it's too inconclusive at the moment to determine it.
Speaking of the characters, which illusion was your favorite?
Luca.
Luca?
I know he doesn't count. Mine was I don't remember her name. Who was the one with the V? Who was the one with
Venera?
Yeah, Venera was my favorite.
Was she the bendy one?
Yeah, she's the elastic, the girl who was like a contortionist. She's the one that was always out partying and like makeup and stuff, and you know.
Mine was, what was the old man's name?
Gil?
I think Gil, yeah. Because at the end, when it's like they're in super trouble and...
Oh, no, are you thinking of Crown?
Just the old man who at the end just like puts his hand out and just like stabs like villain right through the heart and just like pulled his hand out and was like, bitch, right after. I was like, yes, king.
Yeah, that's Crown, because Crown has the fingernails all over him.
Ooh.
Did you look through the
photos? No, I was thinking I should probably do that.
Some of them. I have to say Luca's was like on point for me.
What page is it on?
Luca's is on, oh my god. Luca's photo was on like 354. I think I was expecting a little bit more because me and Michael both read the arc, so we didn't have the illustrations in them. I think I wanted them to be a little bit more elaborate. Yeah, Crown is the one who has the fingernails all over him.
Handsome, a performer, witty.
I think they look a little bit more human than I would have expected. I think that's what it was. Like in my mind, I was expecting like these like really fantastical creatures. Like I thought Crown had like spikes coming off of him and fingernails. Like I thought he looked like a reptile, and like I expected Hawk to be a little bit more Hawk-like.
Yeah, I definitely expected Hawk to be like.
But I mean, when I think about it, like when you think of like a stereotype,
he was literally a tree. I didn't think he was literally just a tree.
Spot on.
But he is.
Yeah, but like when you think of like an actual like stereotypical idea of like a freak show, like they are people, they just have these different abnormalities. And so I think like traditional freak show, they fit exactly as like they would, but I think I was imagining them to be a little bit more fantasy-like.
Yeah, Crown is just
an old man with fingernails.
I don't know what to say about that image.
Amanda asks, what was your favorite part?
You go first. I don't know.
I think my favorite part was like not the very ending, but like the climax of the story where like Luca is in jail and like and it's literally like the crazy whodunit moments, because like I was so emotionally invested in the story at that point. Like I thought it was like so high intensity. There were so many things going on. Like I could not trust a single soul in that moment. And there was so much excitement in it that like I feel like when I think about Daughter of the Burning City, like I'm going to think about those scenes where I was so crazy, like going insane over needing to know what happened, because it's not often that a lot of books can like get me in that mindset. Like TMI, Harry Potter, Vampire Academy, like those ones have made me go crazy. And those scenes of Daughter of the Burning City like have made me felt that way, which a lot of books don't do.
If you guys want proof that she's telling the truth, Emma literally sent me texts asking me to spoil her and tell her whether or not Luca was the killer. and she was like yelling at me, Michael, tell me if he's the killer. I'm not gonna FaceTime you for like a month. Like genuinely wanted to know so badly. But I stayed true to my book nerd self and I did not spoil it for her. But that's just proof that she genuinely was like almost too invested in the end of the story.
So invested.
I guess I'd say I found the ending the most interesting as well, because it's when like the action peaked and like the plot peaked. And yeah, I think that was the ending was my favorite. I would have liked more of an ending though, because I feel like for a book that doesn't have a sequel, it did not wrap up nearly enough, considering the whole time we were like, there's going to be a war, there's going to be a war, there's going to be a war. And then like, there's just no war and everything's okay.
I think maybe it was written in a way where if she wanted to write a sequel, she could. Like maybe she wasn't granted, like, you know, maybe it wasn't like she didn't have
contract. Yeah, she didn't have like the contract.
Or like she didn't know if the publisher would buy like a 2-book deal or whatever. So maybe it's like she wanted to be able to have the opportunity to continue if she wanted to. Because I think it's somewhat complete, like, you know, like this story wrapped up. It's just there's so many other parts of the world that...
Yeah, there's so much. That's another thing. She did such like interesting and intriguing world building that I was kind of upset that we didn't get to see more of it. We just got a little tease of it, and like there should be craziness going on. It kind of felt like she originally wrote it to have a sequel, but then at the end she wrote that like epilogue where like everything's okay.
Yeah.
And what's her name is like the new head of the carnival, and there's no war. I don't know, but I know that it does. I don't think there's any chance of getting a sequel if she's already working on a new series that's like a 2-book series, because we wouldn't wait 3 to 4 years to get a sequel to the book. You know what I mean?
Never know.
But yeah, Miss Peregrine's. I guess you do never know.
Fight Club. We got a sequel like 10 years later.
I haven't read that book.
It's so good. You must.
You should read Night Circus.
Christina asks, would you want to watch the Freak Show? I would. I would have so much fun in Gomorrah. I really would.
I would probably get swindled in Gomorrah.
What do you mean swindled in Gomorrah?
Swindled? Like all my money taken, like my clothes taken. Just like wake up like tied upside down to a tree. Not tree, but like to a tree with just like a candy apple in my mouth.
Not a tree, but to a tree.
To a tree. That's the thing that threw me off though. When Emma and I did our drunk videos, and then mine was pet peeves, the one where I mentioned fantasy worlds that have like our worlds incorporated into them too much so. Whereas like Luca smelled like sandalwood. Luca was an imagination. Where the hell he getting sandalwood shampoo? And then again, Luca didn't know he was imagination. And 2, there were candy apples mentioned at the beginning. And throughout the rest of the book, I think all of the foods were like fantasy, like created foods, but there were candy apples at the beginning, you know?
I thought of the foods kind of like how Harry Potter, like they have like cockroach clusters.
I didn't finish reading that one either.
Well, you would have read about these if you read the first book. So, like, I think it was more, like, I think that's something we disagree on because I don't mind that stuff as much. I think it's, like, when there's not enough fantasy elements in a story that it upsets me more than when there's, like, too much crossover. Because, I mean, I guess it's, like, an urban, like, what genre of fantasy would you consider?
This is not urban fantasy.
It's like...
Because all of the cities and towns and everything were all fantasy. They were all, like,
true.
Unique to the book.
Like, fabulism?
Like low-key high fantasy. Does that make sense?
Is it like fabulism?
Oh, I don't know her. Just kidding. I saw your tweets, like, the other week about this. No, I don't think so, because there were, like, general fantasy elements, like the go-to fantasy elements. And
maybe, is there such a thing as low-high fantasy?
Yeah. It's like bookish limbo, you know? Like the author's doing limbo with like the level of fantasy. That doesn't make sense.
Whichever one she gets out at, that's the way that that's the one that she chooses. Like if you get it at the beginning, it's really high fantasy. You get it at the end, low high fantasy. So now it's like.
Yeah, it's like somewhere in the middle there. Did we have any other subjects to talk, or should we go to questions?
I don't know. If you guys have any questions, you can definitely join in or say your thoughts. Like Kaylee just said that she thought there was way too much build-up for these people to be like, okay, never mind, we're over. I think we can unanimously agree on that.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of the book was like how well done like this outside of the carnival world building was, and then we just didn't get to see like what it led to, and it just doesn't make sense in my head that she put so much effort in that just to be like, haha, psych, it's all good.
I feel that.
Um,
Any other like specific scenes you like? Like I liked the scene when we see Luca like during his show, like as the like when everyone's trying to kill him and they can't, and then like Serena picks up his head and puts it back on his body.
Yeah, that freaking, like, how?
I found it so entertaining.
Wait.
What?
Was it ever explained why he couldn't die?
That's his jinx magic.
But he doesn't have jinx magic because he's one of her illusions.
See, I was thinking that too, but like it's his. Like
I'm literally am I the blinking meme right now?
I think it's like his like freak show element. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh yeah. I got you. No, it makes sense now.
For a girl to have hawk wings, she has to have some sort of magic. And
You're right.
Jinx magic is a sort of magic. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's like Serena's magic, but like, you know, like when you think about like freak shows and stuff, like, you know, there's the people that can swallow anything or whatnot, and I think that's kind of what like Luca's not being able to die thing was.
Another thing that I thought was kind of a plot hole was there was that character who could read your mind just being in the same room as you. And at one point, I think I remember her being in the same room as, like, Willem and them, and I just didn't understand, like, girl, you know everything. Why? Who are you, Dumbledore? You're just going to keep all these things a secret from us?
I think it may be...
Can you give me points for that Harry Potter reference? I've never even read Harry Potter. Please give me the credit that is due right now.
You get some credit.
Thanks.
I think it was more like she can follow your thought process. Like, I don't think it's like she can like look into the.
Oh yeah, I get that.
I think it's like if we were talking and like you said something, like you accused me of some shit, and I was like, that's true, but outside I said like, no, that's not true. You would know it was true. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it was like she can look in to see like what you're thinking about. I think it has to do with like what you're talking about and thinking about at the present moment.
Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense to me. Should we start scrolling for questions?
Yeah, I have a question though. If you had a form of jinx magic or else an ability like the illusions, what would you want?
I mean, my go-to. Are you giving me the middle finger?
No, I was scratching myself.
It was a joke. Wow. My go-to answer for superpower is always telekinesis. Like, you have no idea how badly I wanted that as a kid. I would literally sit in my room at the other end of the room from where the light was at night and just like focus so hard on that light switch, telling myself that I could be telekinetic and make it turn down, and it never happened. Kaylee just texted me, sorry. And I clearly never developed telekinesis, or did I? But I think I'd want to say something different, so let me think while you give your answer.
See, I would want the ability to be invisible, but I wouldn't want to be invisible all the time. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, I just saw a crap load of lightning. That was horrifying. Like, when you think about, like, Miss Peregrine's, like, I wouldn't want thunder. I don't know if you can hear that. It's thunder.
Thunder? I was thinking Imagine Dragons.
Can you stop? I'm in the middle of a live show.
Is Mama Books home?
Yeah. No, she's not. Oh my god, she, like, just left. I'm alone.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, like, when you, like, in Miss Peregrine's, like, they have that one character that is always invisible that has to wear clothes or else you can't see him. Like, I wouldn't want to be invisible like that. I would want to be able to, like, choose when I was invisible. You know?
I just heard the thunder here.
Did it just hit you?
Yeah.
Wait, that's so funny.
Emma, we're hearing thunder at the same time. It's like we're together.
Oh, we're so close.
What were you saying?
So yeah, I would want. I've always been intrigued by the power of invisibility, but I wouldn't want to be invisible 100% of the time. Like, I would want to be able to choose to become invisible, or maybe to like blend into my surroundings. You know.
You want to be a chameleon?
Yeah, I want to be a chameleon.
But you were born to stand out, Em.
Oh, thanks, Michael. Why do you always find a way to compliment me when we're just trying to have a normal conversation?
Because you deserve to be complimented at all times.
Complimented too.
No, I don't. I'm ugly.
You're beautiful. What?
So I want to say something unique. I think I would want the Jinx work of. Why didn't you tell me you were going to ask this ahead of time?
I just thought of that.
Oh, okay. That's a good on the thought question. You should be an interviewer. I think I would want. What Jinx work would you see me having?
I can't. I'm trying to think if there are any that in the book that like I could think of, because there were ones that were more relevant or like more common than others. Like
I want to be a waterbender. Because I know there's fire breathers or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And that's elementalist if there aren't any water breathers. You know what I mean? So, because I always wanted to be a waterbender. How many times am I going to mention Avatar: The Last Airbender in this live show?
You just can really associate it, I think.
So I think I'd be that. I'm just going through the questions. Are you too? Are you frozen?
No, I'm not frozen.
Oh, you just weren't saying anything?
I didn't know if we had any other questions or if there was anything that you were specifically thinking about.
I mean, there are quite a few questions. It's a lot of scrolling.
Okay, so Christina asked, which booktubers would you have as artists in your circus, and what would their abilities and performance?
Okay, well, you would be like the main show because you like are a professional hooper, and I don't think I know anyone else.
Are we talking like Jinx work or like actual, like if we have like a legitimate circus as we are? I need clarification.
Also, you've been taking pole classes.
It's so much fun.
And hula hooping, so like you dead ass like could be in a circus if you wanted to because you have the talents for it.
I've always wanted to be a circus artist, but God knows that'll never happen.
I never say never.
No.
And I'm not quoting Justin Bieber.
Oh, I did.
I was gonna, you know how we were FaceTiming and one of us ends the call when someone says something you don't like? I was gonna hit end on the live show, but I was like, I probably shouldn't do that.
Please do not do that.
I would put you'd be the main show. What other booktubers have like circusy talents?
Natasha's a good singer, but I don't know if singing is a...
Yeah, I'm not sure that's like a circusy thing. I think that's more like a...
I don't know. I'm gonna go with Jinx Works because I think that's more fun. I think if Kat had Jinx Works, she would have the ability to never need to sleep.
I think that already is Kat, so
she could be in our real life freak show.
Yeah.
Let me think.
If you had Jinx work, I think you'd be Venera.
Oh, thanks. I'm working on my flexibility. I just dropped my.
What would I do?
Kaylee said I'll be Tree.
No, Kaylee, you're too.
Michael, you can be Blister.
Just call me a Blister.
Yeah, you can be Blister.
What is Blister?
Blister's the one that has a flame on his head and he lit all their candles.
I don't remember any of this. Was he one of her illusions?
Yes, he's the second one who died.
Oh, that's why I don't remember, because he died so soon. I don't want to die.
I didn't say you had to be Blister. I just said you could have his power.
I wouldn't be Luca. I would if someone chopped my head off and I saw them chop my head off, but like my head was still functioning, my head would just like start rolling across the floor from the projectile puking that it was doing.
What other booktubers would like fit into like these ones? I
feel like we're gonna start getting insulting if we're like, well, you would have nails growing out of you. And I'm thinking, like, what could I say about Sarah without insulting her? And I don't think there are any characters who I could be like. I mean, there's what's her name who's super strong. That's a nice one.
Nicoletta. Yeah, I like Nicoletta.
Who would be Nicoletta?
I don't know. Who's like super strong?
I mean, no one has super strength because
we're all like fairly active because all we do is sit inside and read books. To be honest.
You literally just told us how you climbed up a pole.
I'm good. Maybe I'll end up being Nicoletta in the future.
You can't be Nicoletta and Venera. Emma, give someone else cool powers. I'm gonna scroll through for comments while you keep thinking of who would be who.
It's so hard. Like, who would be Hawk?
Maybe I'd be Hawk.
You can be Hawk. Oh, Amanda's watching. I don't know if she's still watching, but she tweeted out. But thanks for watching, Amanda. If you're still here.
Oh, it took me a little while.
Author, yes.
I was like, Emma, you're not being specific enough.
Oh, Amanda said that Avatar: The Last Airbender is her favorite show ever.
Oh, hi, Amanda. Is she watching? I don't know. I really like that show too, Amanda. Maybe it's not similar enough. I made those connections a little bit reachy.
It was close enough for my taste. I don't know. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to send them to us. Yes, these pants are so comfy. I literally don't ever want to stop wearing them. Oh, Uno and Drew. Who would be Uno and Drew?
Oh my god, can we be attached to each other?
Christina said, I'm wondering if we would survive each other for that long.
100%. Emma and I have only been on each other's nerves like a handful of times in our 3-year friendship.
This is very true. Are there any like dual person booktube channels that like would actually be Uno and Drew?
There are a few, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. I want to say Jeremy and Jeffrey West, but they're not really booktubers.
Oh my god, they have to be Uno and Drew.
But they kind of already are Uno and Drew. Are the characters relatable? No! Hi, sorry, I started playing our own video on accident. Oh. So, are the characters relatable and likable? I would say, yeah, I would say yes. What was I gonna say? What's her name again? The super strong one? Nicoletta. Nicoletta had like performance anxiety.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a super like relatable trait for you to have because like not anymore, but I used to like when I had to do speeches in front of like the class, I would just like whisper and then like feel like I was gonna puke the whole time and then like try to make a joke but be like blurted out at the wrong time with no comedic timing. And so I definitely understood that. I thought that was super relatable. And I think the main character was Serena was relatable in the fact that like she was just trying to like save her family and she kept putting her family first above everything, you know?
I think that Serena was also relatable because like when she is starting to realize that she has feelings for Luca, I felt it was developed in a very realistic way. Like when she was having like concerns because, you know, he had all of these pretty women and pretty men as friends, like she was starting to be jealous, but she wasn't able to necessarily make sense of that jealousy because she didn't know if she really liked him yet or not. And the way that she like just wanted him to like her so badly and that she was afraid that her not having eyes made her less appealing, like she had a true insecurity. And I think all of that was like very like really
Yeah.
Like she felt like a teenage girl. You know what I mean? A lot of YA characters do not feel like teenagers. Like I think she truly felt like a 16-year-old, you know?
Yeah. I second that.
And I think all the other illusions also like filled their ages as well. You know what I mean? Like Hawk was the type of 13-year-old girl that wants to prove that she's independent and is capable, but she also still needs the support of her family and stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that pretty much all the characters were very like relatable and realistic and such. Keely said sort the illusions into Hogwarts houses, which I want to do.
Okay, I feel like I probably won't be as good at this because...
How many times a day do you say you haven't read Harry Potter, Michael? I'm just curious.
Are you coming for me right now? I would say Serena is Ravenclaw.
I was thinking she might be Ravenclaw too.
I would say Luca is... I feel like Luca...
I think Luca might also be a Ravenclaw because he was the gossiper kid. Like, he likes being in the know. But I think he also might be a little bit of a Hufflepuff.
I think he also might be a little bit of a Slytherin.
Luca's divergent. Let's just end it at that.
You can't mix up the series like that,
No, but I also think, like, he just wanted to know people. Like, I think that he exhibits, like, the friendliness of Hufflepuffs and such. But I also think that, I had a train of thought, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, my train of thought was...
So Nicoletta would be a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, Nicoletta is, like for sure a
Hufflepuff.
What other characters, like, survived?
Tree.
What?
Tree.
Oh, Tree. Oh, Tree's.
Tree would be Gryffindor.
Yeah, I think Tree's a Gryffindor. He's
Tree's a Gryffindor.
He's a cutie. Who else? I feel like Veneer is a bit of a Slytherin.
Yeah.
I think she's a Slytherin.
I put her in Slytherin too. Hawk.
Hawk. Oh, Hawk's a little. I think Hawk is either a Gryffindor or a Hufflepuff. What do you think?
I'd say Gryffindor. I'd say she'd probably want to be Gryffindor.
I mean, she had to have a lot of courage to like agree to like kidnap that person.
Yeah, she was so down.
She was so brave. I love her so much.
And then
Uno and Drew.
Uno and Drew would be.
I feel like they might be Hufflepuffs too.
I'd say Hufflepuff, yeah. And then Crown.
Hufflepuff because they don't fit anywhere else, or are you saying Hufflepuff?
I'm saying Hufflepuff because I haven't read the Harry Potter book so far.
This is the fourth time you said that this live show.
Can you stop attacking me so much? Jeez.
I'm attacking you.
And then I'd say Crown would be Dumbledore. And that's not just because he's also an old man.
No, I think Crown is a Gryffindor.
Gryffindor and Dumbledore are almost the same word.
They're gonna say almost the same person. I'm like, no, they're not.
Gryffindor, Godric Gryffindor.
Yeah,
He's
not the same person as Dumbledore.
Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Amanda Gilbert said, if you were to name the book a different title, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question, though.
I feel like Daughter of the Burning City is a good one because Gamora is like constantly burning.
Yeah, I thought that was another interesting element, too. Like, I thought that the backstory of Gamora was expressed really well.
I would say... Y'all, I don't know.
Hold on, wait 1 second.
Oh, you're walking away, so it's just going to be on my face?
Oh, no, I'm here.
What would I name the book?
When I met Amanda at the event, she wrote, "Welcome to the Festival of Burning Desires." I feel like that might be another interesting one. Like the Festival of Burning Desires.
To me, the Festival of Burning Desire sounds like it's got a 50 Shades of Grey twist. You know what I mean?
True. Good point.
I don't think we need to give it another name because I think they named it really well.
Really good. Christina asks, what did you think about there being no homophobia and stuff, which is something I personally loved.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I didn't want to see like real world elements in it because it is such like a technically a high level fantasy. And so for there to be homophobia in a world where people literally have like nails growing out of them, it would have been like, can you like get out of here, please? So I think it was really good that was the world that we were in.
I mean, I do like when like the nastier parts of society are addressed in books because I think it's a good way for like, especially like the young adult demographic. I think it's a good way for people to learn about these issues and to learn why these things are wrong. But I also love it when that's not even a problem and that like everyone can just be happy enjoying who they want to enjoy in their lives. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was nice that there was really like, I feel like the discriminatory aspects of this book were more like the down mountain versus up mountain as opposed to like someone's personal identity. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't think it was necessarily like a race issue or a sexuality issue. Like, it was mostly on like, like their like the territory. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we were at this for an hour. Do you have any last minute comments or anything? Are there any last minute questions?
Sylvia Lua asks, how about when Serena and Vanera addressed slut shaming, which I loved. I was living in that moment. How about you, Michael?
I felt so bad for Vanera.
Oh, my sweet, precious little bean. I love her.
Is she dead?
What?
Is she dead?
She was I think she was stabbed. She was one of the last people.
Yeah. I felt so bad for her because that's like, again, we're talking about things that are relatable, just like people using you for just like hookups and not wanting anything more. I think everyone can sort of, everyone over a certain age probably can sort of relate to that. And so I felt really awful that she had been through that and like that was a thing that existed in this fantasy world. But I think since it was so sexually charged, I think that made sense to be included.
Yeah.
because there were like sex workers involved in this world. And so I felt I was really glad it was a jest, but also just like wanted to like beat up anyone who like did that to her.
I mean, I personally just like the inclusion of sex workers in general. Like, I like the way that like someone's like sexual choices was expressed in the book, because I think other than like the slut shaming and stuff, like overall, like it really normalized people having sexual behaviors and stuff. And I think that that was like an interesting thing to address, because that's not like, when was the last time you heard about prostitutes in a YA book? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it made efforts towards like normalizing those sorts of things. So Kaylee asked, how do you feel about the demisexuality representation? I'm torn because there was a lot of not super positive comments about it from both good and bad characters. I think it took me a while to identify how he was going to identify, because it seemed like for a long time, like it was being set up to be asexual, and I thought it might be aromantic. Like, I didn't think that the setup was as clear, but there were definitely comments from like different individuals across the story that I was like, this isn't okay. You know what I mean?
I also think that it should have been more clear like what he was, because like to this, like still it was never confirmed, and I was a little confused by it, and I think we were both going back and forth looking at passages and trying to understand like how he identified. And so I think it would have been helpful had there been a little more clarity and had there been a little more development for it, because again, there were so many other things going on in this book that there wasn't really like a focus on that specifically. And so I think that it wasn't really clear, and we got some positive and negative like comments on it it, but at the same time I was glad that it was included.
Yeah, I think like I remember when I started reading this book, because I didn't think that this had any.
That's another thing about it. There was no mention.
Like what? Like that was a problem with marketing. Like it. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not blaming. No,
yeah.
I think it's really important that Amanda included these representations, and the marketing team just like didn't mention it whatsoever. It kind of, I feel like it should have been mentioned at least in some sort of way.
Like the way that like books like, for example, like How to Make a Wish, like that's constantly recommended as like a bisexual recommendation, and this one like you don't hear about it. I think that there should have been like more hype about the fact that this had so much representation in it. Mm-hmm. But I remember like in the beginning when like they had said that Luca kept the company pretty workers, but he wasn't interested in that for that reason. I was like, is he asexual? Because I'm really excited. And then a few like chapters later, there was another person that was like, he's not interested in romantic relations. I was like, is he aromantic? Like I couldn't tell. And then the reason I assumed it was demisexuality was because a different reviewer had used that language. I haven't heard the author confirm it. I haven't like, you know, like I said, I heard someone say that he was demi-romantic and asexual, which like I just wish it was more clear, because I want to be able to say like this is demisexual representation from a big publisher, but like I feel like it's just not clear enough for me yet that I can be like, you know what I mean?
Someone asked if the negative comments were addressed. I think it was.
What were you gonna say?
I wouldn't necessarily say they were ever like outwardly like, oh, there's something wrong with it comments. Mm-hmm. Were there?
I think Serena was like uncomfortable with the way they said those things. Like I don't know if it was like she didn't like call them out and say like this isn't something you should be saying.
I think it was just that they didn't understand it.
Yeah, and then Luca goes like, I think the passages where Luca explains his identity were done well, like in the way that he expresses it to Serena and talks about how other people don't understand it. Like I think that was done well. Mm-hmm. And Kaylee just said I think she confirms it on Twitter, so I'll definitely check.
But as for other sexualities, it was just like so normal and okay for people to like whoever they wanted.
Yeah, like I know like Vanera was, I mean, I don't want to necessarily call her a lesbian because I don't know if she ever confirmed if she was actually a lesbian or if she was pan or if she was bi or whatever. She definitely leaned towards women, but I just like, because it wasn't confirmed, I don't want to say she's a lesbian and then invalidate a different part of her identity. Mm-hmm. Which is why it's a little difficult to like, you know, place labels on these characters that don't use them because you want to be sensitive to it. But like, yeah, like the way that Vanera goes about her relationships, the way that or like every time, who was the woman that Serena was trying to take care of? The other fortune teller who was
Man, I don't remember her name. She was the
a
little
man or a woman in your future. Like there was some acceptance of that. Like there was an acknowledgement that there's no reason to be heteronormative. Like I don't think it's a heteronormative story whatsoever.
Speaking to what Kaylee asked, she said, like what we thought they called it weird or that it seemed weird, but then she said at the end, the villain comments that it's a mistake that he was like that, and I think.
Oh, I see what she's saying here.
That definitely should have been
more addressed.
I'm kicking myself that I was probably like speed reading through the end. That I was like in shock of like who they announced did it, that I must have not like read that close enough to like.
Yeah, I think I maybe didn't pick up on it as being as serious. I mean, I feel like I recognize it, but I don't like remember like making the connection that that's what they were talking about. I think like I vaguely remember the conversation, but yeah, like I think that's something that should have been addressed.
Yeah, that should have been addressed. Villain was just a total dick at the end, just out of nowhere. He just that's not proper wording. I'm not going to say that thought out loud. He was just a total dick at the end.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I text you what I was going to say?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So I don't know if we have any like last minute questions, but we've been.
Also, thank you for pointing it out, Kaylee.
Yes, of course. I'm always happy when people point out things because there's no way to recognize literally everything in a book. You know.
Yeah.
If there's another book, would you want it from anyone else's point of view? I want Luca's point of view.
I would say Luca's point of view as well, because I think he's got the most going on, just having found out that everything he believes is a lie.
Yeah, and I also think it's really that's another really interesting element is that he thought he had this whole family and like it's fake. I think also because he is like the gossip worker and he knows the people of Gomorrah so well, despite only being there for a year, like. I feel like we would have some more interesting scenes with other people from Gomorrah and see other forms of Jinx magic and whatnot if, we weren't just solely relying on Serena's point of view.
There are definitely other stories to be told in Gomorrah.
I definitely think so.
What are you looking up right now?
I was trying to find out if Amanda Foodie had confirmed it on Twitter, but I couldn't anything specifically. I think that does it.
Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you guys so much for chatting with us. I
think we both really enjoyed the book.
Mm-hmm. I'm satisfied with it. I'm glad we decided to read it. That was like the first one that we wanted to read together.
And then don't forget that next month, probably early to mid-month, we're going to be having another live show for Adam Silvera's They Both Die at the End.
I'm so excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to pick up They Both Die at the End when it comes out this September 5th so that you can read it and we can discuss it together. I'm very, very excited for it. But thanks for tuning into this first live show, and we'll be definitely doing more in the future.
My name's Michael Bookline. She's Emma Books.
Bye!